Hey guys, we're the KGS Collective and we're back. I'm Rafi.
I'm Zahra,
And I'm Alvin.
and we're here with Asad Salat Fatmi today. He's a med student at AKU, and we are switching from our normal style of episodes today. We know we normally do project-related episodes, but today it's more guidance-related. So, especially if you're planning to apply to med school in the near future, I think this episode will definitely help you out. Not just with kind of the process, but kind of what you're like getting in for. So I think we'll begin with. Do you want to ask the first question, Rafi? Okay. So Asad, not only did he get into AKU, but he also got into Johns Hopkins. He got accepted into Cambridge. He attended a few months at Johns Hopkins as well. Do you want to talk about your decision, maybe?
Okay. So I think it's important to first keep in mind that when you're applying to medical school, when you're applying for pre-med in the US and everything, if you're sure or not about what you want to do. So I think gives you a great avenue. Liberal arts education gives you a great avenue to explore what you want to do if you're unsure or if you're on the fence. But if you're sure, at least 80% or 70% even, I think it's worthwhile taking the plunge. The difference is that, of course, in the US, in the UK, the pathway is relatively longer, it's more expensive, more time consuming, your relationships with family, especially in Pakistan, grandparents, younger siblings, they get compromised. So those are obviously softer factors that people don't really consider. But the thing is that at the end of the day, if you know for sure from the start you want to do medicine, then the time saved as well as the money saved by staying in Pakistan, I think is a very, very big plus point. So that I think was the one of many different factors that went into my decision.
Now, obviously, there's a lot when you're making big decisions like these. It's your entire future. There's a lot of factors that go into play. If you could divide the med school application process into 4 or 5, just in 2-3 words,
the
each
Pakistani,
step. Pakistani med school process.
So the Pakistani med school application process generally starts with the AKU application as far as the cycle is concerned. So the AKU application happens somewhere in, I think you register for it somewhere in April or May. But during that application, it's just a sort of formality. You have to fill in your grades and stuff. The major sort of process starts when the AKU test happens, which is a variable every year. That information is available on the website. After the AKU test, then you have the MDCAT, which stands for the Medical and Dental Continuous Assessment Test for every sort of health science degree in Pakistan. You have to give the MDCAT, and then on the basis of the MDCAT, you generally get a score which is combined with your A-level or inter aggregate, and then you get into government and private medical colleges. AKU is exclusive from this process. If you pass the AKU test, then after the MDCAT, generally you have a stage 2 process which starts with an interview, and you have to submit an application form which has your extracurricular activities, grades, and other additional ancillary information.
Yeah. So that was kind of a breakdown of the steps. So, for example, me and Rayan, our application process for med school hopefully starts soon. So these are the kind of steps that we would have to go through to kind of enter into med school in Pakistan. If you kind of went a little back to college section days. Oh, by the way, this is Asad Salat Fatmi from class of 2020. So if you had to think about your 4 years at college section, do you have maybe a fun memory or a few fun memories you'd like to talk about? Or is something funny you would like people to know?
I think second year as a whole was a bunch of really, really important, long-lasting memories.
Yeah, last year.
A lot of people that you don't see for a long time after that. Everyone starts a completely different chapter in their lives. I think spending those last couple of days in college section was absolutely wonderful. I was also head boy, so being part of the council, I think that was really fun because it was really, I guess, engaging first off to have so many friends who were part of the council first off, and then secondly I think it was a really nice journey to be part of Napier House. So Napier during my 4 years was dominant in sports, and having participated in all of those teams, I think that was perhaps really, really great looking back. One thing of course I do wish that we had was a graduation prom.
COVID year, yeah.
I was the COVID year, and I think my year was completely forgotten. So even the year after me, which was completely online, they at least had a prize giving ceremony. They had a late they had a late prom. They had a shirt signing thing that we were just completely forgotten in that respect. But fair, things move. But yeah.
I mean, we usually think we were at the brunt of the COVID woe, but there's people who had it worse.
But okay, coming back to the decision to study medicine, you gave us some factors when you make the decision to study, but are there others, and how do you know it will be the right choice?
Okay. So first, I think it's important to differentiate between factors to study medicine versus factors to study medicine in Pakistan. So let's talk about the first one first, factors to study medicine. So for me personally, I had a couple of reasons. The first one was that I really enjoyed sciences, especially bio and chem, and I wanted a way for me to implement that in a way that would also have heavy person-to-person engagement. So while, for example, biochemical sciences or biomedical sciences and biomedical engineering would have been great applications of that as well, I don't think that person-to-person engagement and person-to-person impact would have been there. That's the first reason. The second reason was that throughout my time in college section and school in general, I really enjoyed participating in science Olympiads, doing problem solving, khas taur pe logic modules, and I felt that diagnostic medicine as a whole was sort of like solving a puzzle. It's distilling down a bunch of information that you have gotten through histories and examinations, and figuring out what's wrong and then moving from there. So I thought that would be a great application and simultaneously be in a field where I could directly help people and feel like I was making more of an impact. I was also very much like a physics and maths nerd, but again, the career pathways in that sort of trajectory did not have the same kind of human-to-human impact that I felt medicine could have. And in addition to that, I think that another important reason for me to consider it was that a lot of people in my family are doctors. And the reason that's important is because it then becomes one of the only fields that you have seen everything of. You have seen the personal life, you've seen how it impacts the personal life, you have seen from a child's point of view, what it's like to have a parent in medicine. You have a lot of family who's trodden down a certain path, and for example, that this A ke baad B, B ke baad C, C ke baad D, kis tarah hota hai medicine mein. And I think keeping all of those things in mind, having all of the information needed to really understand what a medical care is like, I thought that this is what. So those were all of the reasons I chose to do medicine. But medicine in Pakistan then, that is a different story. So medicine in Pakistan, I already talked about some of the reasons, but I think time, money, family, and I think overall maturity, those are four important reasons to consider. The last two in these are not things that generally people think about, especially as a 17-year-old, as an 18-year-old. They're things that I didn't think about either. I had countless arguments with my parents, when they were like, ना मत जाओ, and I was like, यार क्या मजाक है जी, मैंने अपने आप को इतना जलील किया है इन दो यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में दाखिल करने के, and it's such a world renowned places, and आप बोल रहे हैं कि मत जाओ, and these are things that you don't consider, which is why it's important to talk to people, maybe not your parents, but people who are closer to you in age, to help you think about the more intangible factors. For example, what is the impact going to be of pursuing medicine in a different country on your relationship with your grandparents? I had a sibling as well who was 5 years old at the time, but I was making this decision. If I had gone to the US to do 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medicine, 10 years of surgical residency, I would have had a completely estranged relationship from him. And I think that staying in Pakistan helped me, factor that in. And of course, then it depends on you, what exactly are your goals from university.
Even your priorities in life.
Yeah. And it's important to just keep that in mind. Contextualize according to your priorities and us hisab se proceed.
A common misconception and a common factor people also take in is, as you said, step A, step B, step C. When you're in Pakistan, the fact that everyone is leaving, the fact that people are going to world-renowned universities, as you were saying, that actually makes people stray away from the fact that med school is a very viable opportunity. How would you say that balancing those applications, would you give those applications first of all, and second of all, would you put an effort to also give the med school applications on top of that after this?
So US applications and med school applications.
So are you asking, would I have done it in the
if I had done it, and would you advise people to do it as well?
Okay. So I think it's again really important to introspect and think about why you're doing what you're doing. I didn't, and because of that, I think I got on that KGS bandwagon कि 99% लोग are applying abroad, आपके सारे दोस्त लोग applying abroad, आपके पास एक वो legacy होती है कि अच्छा यार head boys का Yale में होता है, so on so forth. तो आप you're on that thing कि अच्छा चलो मैं भी apply कर लेता हूँ. And then parents से भी होता है कि यार backup के लिए करो, आपको नहीं पता होता कि पाकिस्तान में होना है नहीं होना, so on so forth. But those aren't strong enough reasons, and they're not good enough reasons. अगर फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने सोचा होता कि अच्छा ठीक है आई वांट टू अटेंड सम वर्ल्ड रिनाउंड यूनिवर्सिटी क्योंकि मुझे रिसर्च में करियर करना है, मुझे जाके फॉर एग्जांपल मेरी फैमिली बहुत सारी वहाँ है, मैं वहीं जाना चाहता हूँ, मेडिसिन प्रैक्टिस करना चाहता हूँ, मनी फॉर एग्जांपल इज नॉट एन इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर टू कंसिडर, तो फिर ठीक है, इट मेक्स सेंस. लेकिन अगेन प्रायोरिटीज़ के हिसाब से इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट टू कंटेक्चुअलाइज. लुकिंग बैक, I don't think I would have applied. I don't think I would have done the UK application or the US application, specifically because I knew I wanted to do medicine, and I think conversations with people a little bit older than me would have given me that sort of insight that I developed later. Initially, for example, when I started AKU, I really regretted it. I was like, मैंने क्या चीज़ छोड़ दी है? I left a huge opportunity, and but the thing is that very quickly I realized that that's not true. And I'm enjoying it far more than perhaps I might have over there. So I think that in retrospect I would not have done it, but if there are obviously people, and there will be people who will do all these applications of course for different reasons, balancing it becomes obviously a little tricky, not because the applications sort of clash, but because just generally applying to the US and the UK is not an easy task, especially if you want to apply to Oxbridge, if you want to do early decision applications as well. You are going to be working on a timeline that most other people will be, but then after that, when everyone else is free and waiting on their decisions, you are then going to start your med school application. So you're basically spending an entire year sort of applying to places, studying for tests, giving your A-levels, giving the AQ test, giving the MD-CAT. So it's not easy. And then at the end of the day, of course, if you do make that decision, okay, I'm not going to go to the UK, I'm not going to go to the US, then you have to see your friends basically start university, of course, 6 months before you. उनके decisions भी आ गए हैं, you're sort of stuck in a rut कि यार मेरा होगा भी नहीं होगा, MD-CAT वापस होगा, MD-CAT का mark scheme release हो गया तो अजीब cheating हुई है, तो एक court case चल रहा है.
Happens too much.
It happens every year, right? So that is an important thing to keep in mind, but it's not because the clashing. So it's very manageable.
So you all have probably gauged that he has a lot on his portfolio. Again, head boy, MUN team, his acceptances show how various his extracurriculars, how much variety there was in his portfolio. So obviously we know he knows how to balance his time, because if you're in med school, your grades were also probably very good. So do you want to talk about how you've kind of taken that into med school itself? Because for me, I think the only thing that's actually stopping me from doing medicine, or something that I'm scared about, is how I'm going to balance it, because I do really like enjoying myself. I don't like studying all the time, all of that. So I'm a bit scared if I want to put in that much time into my studies and all. So do you want to talk about how you maintain that balance for someone who's scared of that?
So I think that from an external point of view, it seems that medicine is extremely taxing in terms of time, in terms of effort, in terms of mental capacity. But the thing is, it's very important to remember, you have to be intentional with your time. If you're intentional with your time, everything आराम से सारी चीजें हो जाती हैं. And the thing is true in high school, it's true in medical school, it's true thereafter as well. The thing is, when you sit down and you're like, मैं अब पढ़ाई करूँगा शायद CIEs के लिए, right? मैं अब let's say you've taken out 12 hours to study. You're not going to study for 12 hours. You're going to study for 2 hours. You're going to spend 5 hours on Instagram. You're going to spend the other 2 hours complaining about how much you need to study. The other 3 hours are going to be spent walking around and eating food and opening the fridge again and again. Yes. I've been there, I've done that, right? The thing is, it's very important to be intentional though, क्योंकि अगर तुमने देखा इन 12 घंटों में तुमने सिर्फ 2 घंटे गुजारे हैं actually studying, या 3 घंटे गुजारे actually studying. The same goes for med school. If you get stuck in that rut के अच्छा बहुत पढ़ाई है मेरे प्लेट पे, अभी करना है कभी करोगे नहीं, तो then of course it feels like you're very busy all the time, you have no time. But if you are disciplined, you are intentional with your time, you spend 2 hours, you spend 3 hours, you have a good 21 hours left in a day. And like for example, med school में आपका stereotype होता है कि बंदा सोता भी नहीं है, 3 घंटे सोता है, 4 घंटे सोता है रोजाना. अगर for example हम दिन बाय दिन की 24 घंटों की बात करें, so on a weekday, weekends की बात ही नहीं है, weekday में for example you sleep let's say 8 hours, ठीक है, you sleep 8 hours, 16 hours आपके बचते हैं. Let's say that you attend classes for 6 hours of the day, 10 hours बचते हैं आपके, 2 घंटे आपने मजीद अपनी पढ़ाई की, 8 घंटे बचे. You have 8 hours to do whatever the hell you want to. And that's a lot more than you might seem, right? Because initially तो it's like यार पूरा दिन अब पढ़ाई करे, कौन बैठ के पढ़ाई करे. Exams हर हफ्ते होते हैं, हर 2 हफ्ते होते हैं, and then you get stuck in that rut again. And the same goes within high school as well. एक ट्यूशन, दूसरा ट्यूशन, स्कूल में एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ हो रही हैं, कोई फुटबॉल का मैच हो रहा है, दोस्तों के साथ कोई टाइम गुजारना है, आपके पास लगता है कि कोई टाइम नहीं बचता, लेकिन वही बात होती है, राइट? इट्स अबाउट बीइंग इंटेंशनल विद योर टाइम, एंड दैट ऑटोमेटिकली फ्रीज अप लॉट्स ऑफ टाइम इन योर स्केड्यूल.
So yeah.
So now bringing it back to you being in AKU, how's your experience been, and what are the good aspects of it, and what are the challenges you faced?
Okay. So I think some of the best aspects of AKU are that I think I found a lot of very, very good friends that I think I will have for a lifetime. And those friends are people who sort of operate on the same wavelength as I do. By virtue of being from Pakistan, by virtue of having a similar cultural background, that is something that in that one semester I did spend at Johns Hopkins was very difficult to find. You know, of course, लोग आपके इधर उधर से होते हैं, diversity and you know, expanding your social circle is very important. Lekin, you know, when the going gets rough, right, it's very difficult for people who aren't on your wavelength to really connect with you. I think AKU has given me a platform to make really, really good friends with almost everyone in the batch. That's the first thing. Second thing is the class size is very small. So it's just 100 people, and because it's just 100 people who you're spending 5 years of, perhaps the 5 most difficult years of your education thus far with, you make really, really lasting and meaningful bonds with everyone in the batch. That is something that perhaps I would never have had an option to do at Johns Hopkins with a graduating batch size of 1,000 plus, right?
Sure.
Uske alawa then, I think that AKU has given an opportunity to really have the premier sort of medical education that's available in this part of the world as well. It's not कि जो मैं सोच रहा था initially जो मैंने बोला भी था कि you know I've let go of an opportunity far too large. The thing was that the opportunity I then got as by virtue of being at AKU was great. You know, it was not subpar in any way, shape or form. And I think that is something I'm very grateful for. As for challenges, of course, you know, it's the ones that come along with medical school that it's very difficult to balance your time. It's very difficult to be intentional with your time. And aside from that, like, I want to also pursue a very competitive specialty. I want to go into cardiothoracic surgery. And because of that, a lot of additional time that other people may not have to spend in doing stuff like research and developing a strong CV is stuff that I do have to do. And I think that is very challenging, of course. And obviously taking time out for myself for things like exercise, reading, a lot of hobbies I used to have in school that I had to give up. But of course, those are sacrifices that I made according to my own priorities. And different people have different med school journeys.
Coming to the tail end of the podcast, we just want to ask that we understand AKU is the goal for probably everyone who wants to do medicine. But unfortunately, as you said, 100 seats can only be filled by 100 people. Yes. So if you have the other options, Ziauddin, Dow, in Karachi, then you have Lahore, would you say those are also really good options? People shouldn't get demotivated by some things like not getting into AKU?
So this is also something that I talked about in the counseling talk a little earlier. It's very important to remember that it is not the med school that defines the quality of the doctor you will eventually become. It is you, right? अगर तुम चीते बंदे हो, तुम चीता ही निकलोगे बेशक जहाँ भी कोई medical school में जाओ. अगर for example you are someone that is perhaps, you know, not very driven, not very ambitious, अगर तुम AKU में भी जाओ, it's not like, you know, you're going to become some Azim or Nishan thing. Similarly, for example, let's say that you are a super cheetah and maybe something happened, you didn't score very well on your MD-CAT, you didn't pass the AKU test. Even if you go to the lowest tier medical college in Karachi, you will still be phenomenal. The difference is that at AKU, because of an abundance of opportunities, आपकी तरफ फेंकी जाती हैं ये चीज़ें. तो सबसे जो you know I guess last position वाला बंदा भी होगा ना, वो भी कुछ ना कुछ कर लेगा अपनी ज़िंदगी के साथ. The difference at other medical colleges के वो opportunities नहीं हैं, और opportunities चूँकि नहीं हैं, आपने खुद बनानी होती हैं अपने लिए. You have to sort of look for those opportunities yourself. They're not completely absent. It's just that they're much more difficult to find. And if you're driven, if you're ambitious, it does not matter where you go. So, अगर for example AKU में नहीं हुआ, I think AKU में कम ही होते जा रहे हैं हर साल. I think in my year there were 6,000 applications. This year I think there were 10,000 applications, which is like a lower acceptance rate than Harvard. But at the end of the day, you know, जहाँ भी तुम जाओ, Ziauddin जाओ, Dow जाओ, जहाँ भी, for whatever reasons, there's lots and lots of other reasons to go to each of these medical colleges, which I won't get into right now. Lekin the point is to remember, keep it in context. One, if you worked hard, if you worked and you think you've done your absolute best and it didn't happen for you, that just means कि किस की बात नहीं थी. And that does not necessarily mean then कि आप खराब डॉक्टर बनेंगे. Ziauddin जाएं, SMC जाएं, UMTC जाएं, Wakai जाएं, you will still be a phenomenal doctor if that is what you really want to do.
I think, like Asad said, you do the best with the kind of circumstances you're given, and that way you won't have regrets. You know you've done your best, and I think that's all that matters at the end. Thank you, Asad, for coming and talking to us today. It was a bit chaotic. I hope you guys enjoy and learn something from this episode. And if you have any more questions, me and Rayan, we're going through the process right now. We can definitely help you out. You can comment down below any questions you might have. And thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys. Take care.